My sister humiliated me at her baby shower that I paid for, saying I wasn't meant to be a mother after my miscarriage. But I was 6 weeks pregnant and nobody knew. Now, 9 months later, I posted a photo of my daughter on Instagram, and my entire family was left destroyed. I'm 29 years old. I work in digital marketing, and I need to tell this story because basically what happened a few months ago completely destroyed my relationship with my family. And there are still days when I wake up wondering if I did the right thing. Although deep down, I know I did. I guess I should start at the beginning. I mean, not the very beginning, but when everything started going to shit, which was about a year ago when my younger sister Brianna announced she was pregnant. The thing is, I had been trying to get pregnant with my husband Jonathan for like 2 years. And it's not something you talk about much with family because it's awkward and personal. But my mom, Ruth, knew, Brianna knew, everyone knew. We had gone through fertility treatments, tons of doctor's appointments, tests, all that horrible process that makes you feel like your body is betraying you. And then, like a year and a half ago, I finally got pregnant, and we were so happy, like crying happy. But at 8 weeks, I had a miscarriage. It was devastating, honestly. And my family knew because I needed the support. You know what I mean? Brianna even came to see me at the hospital, hugged me, told me everything was going to be okay. So when she announced her pregnancy, obviously it hurt. I'm not going to lie. But I was also genuinely happy for her. She's my younger sister. She's 26 years old, and we've always been close. Or so I thought. I told her I was excited for her, that I was going to be an amazing aunt. All that stuff. My mom was like crazy happy because it was going to be her first grandchild. My dad Peter was also happy, although he's more reserved about those things. Everything seemed normal, happy family and all that. But then Brianna started with the comments. Like, she'd say things to me like, "Oh, I hope you don't feel bad," every time she talked about her pregnancy. Or, "I know this must be hard for you." In a way that sounded more condescending than empathetic, you know? And I'd tell her no, that I was fine, that I was happy for her. But she kept going with that. Her best friend Natasha was worse. Literally every time she saw me, she'd make comments like, "Someday it'll be your turn," with that little voice you use when you talk to a child. But anyway, I tried not to pay attention to it because I didn't want to cause drama. Jonathan, my husband, did notice all this and told me to set boundaries, not to let them treat me like that. But I didn't want problems. He's 31 years old, works in finance, and is super protective of me, which I love about him. But sometimes I just wanted to keep the peace. You know what I mean? So we kept trying to get pregnant, but without telling my family anything because, frankly, I didn't want to hear their pity comments anymore. So we get to like 4 months ago. Brianna was 6 months pregnant and decided she wanted a super elaborate baby shower, like Pinterest perfect, with themed decorations and games and the whole thing. And obviously, who do you think was going to organize it? Yeah, me. My mom called me and said it would be nice if I organized it because I'm good at those things and because it would be a good way for you to participate in this stage of your sister's life, as if I needed an excuse to participate. But whatever. I said yes because, honestly, I wanted to do it. I wanted to prove that I could be happy for her, that I wasn't a bitter person because of my own problems. Brianna sent me like 1,000 messages with ideas, Pinterest photos, links to decorations on Amazon, super detailed specifications of what she wanted. She wanted a safari theme, with specific sage, green, and gold balloons, a 3-tier cake, specific games, personalized invitations. The guest list was like 50 people. I mean, basically she wanted a small wedding but baby shower version. I got to work on that for weeks. I hired the catering, got the venue, a nice event hall, but not super cheap, like $800 just for the space, ordered all the decorations, made the invitations myself on Canva, because the ones she wanted cost a fortune, coordinated the games, everything. The total cost was going to be like $3,500, and we agreed that I would pay half and she'd pay the other half. Jonathan thought it was ridiculous to spend that much, but I told him it was important to me to do it right. Here comes the part that I still can't believe happened. Like a week before the baby shower, I started feeling weird. Morning nausea, super tired, sore breasts, and I thought, no, it can't be. But I took a pregnancy test and it came out positive. I took 3 more because I couldn't believe it. I was pregnant, after 2 years, after the miscarriage. After thinking it might never happen, Jonathan and I cried. Like we cried a lot, hugging each other in the bathroom with the 4 little tests there on the sink. But we decided not to tell anyone yet. We were scared, you know? After what happened the first time, we didn't want to get our hopes up or get anyone else's hopes up until we were sure everything was okay. Plus, it was Brianna's baby shower week, and I didn't want to take away her moment. So we kept the secret. I went to the doctor without telling anyone. We confirmed everything looked good, and I went ahead with the baby shower plans like nothing. The day of the baby shower arrived and everything looked perfect. I'm not going to lie. The decorations turned out beautiful. The food looked amazing. There were like 45 people there. Brianna was radiant in her white maternity dress. My mom was super happy taking pictures of everything. I was there, running from one side to the other, making sure everything flowed smoothly. And honestly, I felt good, like proud of what I had managed to organize. Jonathan was with me being the best support, helping me with the heavy stuff because I obviously couldn't carry much now that I was pregnant. Although nobody else knew, everything was going perfect until it was time to open the gifts. Brianna was sitting in her decorated throne-like chair opening gifts one by one, everyone taking pictures and commenting how cute everything was. I was standing next to her with a notebook, writing down who had given her what, so she could send thank you notes later. Normal, right? Typical baby shower stuff. Then Natasha, Brianna's best friend, suddenly stands up and says out loud, like for everyone to hear, "Oh, Brianna, it's so sweet that Kimberly organized all this for you, especially after she can't have babies." The whole room went silent. I froze with the notebook in my hand, not knowing what to do. And she continued, literally kept talking. "It's just so sad what happened to her, right? Trying and nothing, and then when she finally got pregnant, she lost it. It must be so hard for her to be here seeing all this." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I looked at Brianna expecting her to say something, to shut her up, to defend me, whatever, but she just laughed awkwardly and said, "Oh, Natasha," in that tone you use when someone says something inappropriate but you don't want to really confront them. My mom was there with her mouth open, but didn't say anything either. Jonathan got up from his chair. I could see he was furious, like his hands were in fists. Natasha continued, because apparently she wasn't done publicly humiliating me. But, well, I guess some people aren't meant to be mothers, right? At least you can be the fun aunt, Kimberly. And she laughed. She laughed. The whole room was uncomfortable, people looking away, some people whispering to each other. I felt like I was going to pass out, literally felt like my legs weren't responding. I said to Brianna, trying to stay calm even though inside I was devastated, "Are you going to let your friend talk to me like this?" And she, my own sister, looked at me and said, "Well, she's right, Kimberly. It's the truth. I know it's awkward, but we were all thinking it. We were all thinking it. As if my pain, my trauma, my private medical situation was a topic of conversation for all of them. As if I were gossip, a pity case, something to talk about when I'm not around." In that moment, something in me broke. I left the notebook on the table, grabbed my purse, and told Jonathan, "We're leaving." My mom tried to stop me. "Kimberly, don't make a scene. It's your sister's day." But I was already walking toward the exit. Jonathan followed me, not before looking at Natasha and saying something I couldn't hear well, but that made her shut up for the first time all afternoon. When we got to the car, I broke down. I cried like I hadn't cried in months. And that's saying something because I had already cried a lot during all the fertility treatments and after the miscarriage. Jonathan was hugging me and telling me he was so sorry, that he couldn't believe my own family had done that to me. I kept thinking about how I had spent weeks organizing that perfect baby shower, spending my money, my time, my energy, and that's how they repaid me. And the worst part is that I was pregnant at that moment, carrying my own baby, and nobody knew, and they had treated me like I was sterile and incapable of being a mother. The next day, the event venue sent me a message asking for payment of the second half of the catering, which was like $600. I told them to charge Brianna because that was the original agreement, half and half. The catering owner told me that Brianna had told him I was going to pay for everything because it was my gift to her. Lie. We never agreed to that. I forwarded him the text messages where it clearly said we were going to split the cost and told him I wasn't going to pay one more cent after what had happened. Brianna called me furious. "How are you going to ruin my baby shower by leaving me with that bill?" Everyone is talking about how you left making drama. I told her that her best friend had publicly humiliated me and that she not only didn't defend me but said she was right. She answered, "Well, it is true, Kimberly. You can't expect us to lie about your situation just so you don't feel bad." Natasha was just being honest. Being honest. As if honesty justified cruelty. I told her I didn't owe her anything, that I had organized everything, that I had paid half as we agreed, and that after what happened, she was lucky I wasn't asking her to return my money. She hung up on me. My mom called me later. "Kimberly, you have to apologize to your sister. You ruined her special day." I explained everything that had happened, and she told me, "Well, Natasha shouldn't have said that, but you shouldn't have left like that either, and now, leaving her with that debt isn't right either. She's your sister." That's when I realized that nobody in my family was going to support me. Everyone was going to take Brianna's side, because she was the one who was pregnant, the one who was going to give them their first grandchild, the one who mattered at that moment. I was just the failed sister who couldn't have kids and was being dramatic about something that was true. Jonathan got so angry that he wrote a public post on Facebook tagging Natasha, explaining what she had done and saying that if she didn't apologize to me, we were going to take legal action for defamation and intentional emotional distress. I don't know if we could actually do that legally. But it worked because Natasha sent him a private message apologizing. Although the apology was super fake, like, "I'm sorry if you were offended," instead of, "I'm sorry for being a horrible person." My mom called me again, now furious, because Jonathan had embarrassed the family publicly. I told her to worry more about how her daughter and her friend had embarrassed me first. She told me I was being selfish, that this was an important moment for Brianna, that I should be the older sister and the more mature person. Basically, and that I had to swallow my pain so as not to ruin Brianna's happiness. Like 2 weeks passed without anyone talking to me. I kept going to my pregnancy doctor's appointments in secret, watching my baby grow in the ultrasounds, and not being able to share that happiness with my family, because frankly, I didn't want to anymore. Jonathan told me that eventually we'd have to tell them, but I wasn't ready. I needed to process everything that had happened first. Then Brianna had her baby. A boy. My mom sent me photos without any message, just the photos. I responded, "Congratulations," and nothing else. I didn't go to the hospital, didn't send a gift, nothing. My mom called me saying it was cruel not to go meet my nephew. How could I be so resentful? I told her that after how they had treated me, I didn't feel welcome, and that besides, they hadn't formally invited me anyway. Brianna sent me a direct message, like 3 weeks after the baby was born. "Hi, Kimberly. I know things are weird between us, but I need you to do me a favor. I need you to watch my baby on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I'm going back to work part-time and I don't want to leave him in daycare yet. Obviously, I'm not going to pay you because we're family, but I thought you'd like to spend time with your nephew, since you can't have children of your own." I read that message like 5 times to make sure I had read it right. After everything that had happened, after humiliating me, not defending me, saying her friend was right to publicly destroy me, she had the audacity to ask me to watch her son for free twice a week. And again, mentioning that I can't have children of my own. As if that was now a characteristic of mine. My entire identity summarized in my inability to have babies, according to her. I answered, "No. Literally just that. No." She responded, "No? Are you serious? I'm your sister. He's your nephew." I told her, "You're my sister and you treated me terribly. I don't owe you anything. Find someone else." She wrote me a long paragraph about how I was being selfish, bitter, that I was letting my fertility problems turn me into a bad person, that she had always been there for me, when exactly, and that I was turning my back on her in a moment when she needed me. My mom also started sending me messages. "Kimberly, your sister needs help. You're her family. How can you deny her this?" I explained everything again, everything that had happened at the baby shower, everything Brianna had said to me after, and she told me, "That's in the past. You have to forgive and move on. Family is family." That phrase, "family is family," as if that justified everything, as if I had to accept any mistreatment just because we share blood. I told my mom I wasn't going to watch Brianna's baby, that I wasn't going to apologize for leaving the baby shower, and that I wasn't going to pay any debt that Brianna claimed I had. That I had done everything possible to be a good sister, and they had spit in my face, My mom told me, "If you keep this up, you're going to ruin our family." I answered, "I think it's already ruined, Mom," and stopped responding to her messages. Brianna sent me one last message. "Fine, Kimberly. If that's how you want things to be, don't ever try to get close to my son. You won't meet him. You won't be his aunt. Nothing. And when you finally have kids, if you ever can, don't expect me to be there for you." And honestly, you know what? I read that message and felt relieved, because I realized I didn't want my child, when he or she was born, to grow up around people so toxic and cruel. I answered, "Perfect. I accept those terms." And I blocked her. I also blocked my mom because she kept sending me messages trying to make me feel guilty. My dad never got involved in any of this, which was disappointing but not surprising. He's always been one of those who avoids conflict and lets my mom handle everything. The following months were weird. I was still pregnant, going to my appointments, preparing the baby's room, buying things, and my family didn't know anything. Jonathan and I decided not to tell them. Why? So my mom could tell me I had to reconcile with Brianna, now that I was also going to be a mom, so Brianna could make comments about how we were now equal? No, thanks. I had my daughter 2 months ago. A beautiful, healthy, perfect girl. The birth was long but without complications. Jonathan was with me the whole time. We cried when we saw her for the first time, and I felt a happiness I hadn't felt in years. We stayed in the hospital for 2 days, went back home, and started our life as a family of 3. We didn't tell anyone in my family. 0 communication. Last week, I decided to post a photo of my daughter on Instagram. Nothing dramatic, just a cute photo of her in a little pink dress. No explanations, no context. Obviously, my mom and Brianna still follow me on Instagram, even though I have them blocked on WhatsApp and Facebook. Within hours, my phone exploded with calls. I didn't answer any of them. My dad called me, and I did answer him because, honestly, I was curious what he was going to say. "Kimberly, your mom is very upset. Did you have a baby? When? Why didn't you tell us?" I explained calmly that yes, I had had my daughter 2 months ago, that the pregnancy and birth had gone well, and that I hadn't told them because after how they treated me at Brianna's baby shower, I didn't feel they deserved to be in my life or my daughter's life. He told me I was being too harsh, that my mom had been crying all afternoon, that Brianna was devastated to find out through Instagram. How could I have done something like that to them? I told him, "Dad, Brianna literally told me that when I had kids she wasn't going to be there for me. She's getting exactly what she asked for." And Mom chose to take Brianna's side when they publicly humiliated me about my miscarriage and fertility issues. "Actions have consequences," he said. I should think about my daughter, that she deserved to know her family, her grandparents, her cousin. I told him, "My daughter is going to grow up surrounded by people who love and respect her, not people who use personal pain as a weapon. If you wanted to be part of her life, you should have thought about that before treating me the way you treated me." And basically, I told him there wasn't going to be a reconciliation until there was a real apology, acknowledgement of the damage they caused, and a genuine change in how they treat me, and that honestly, I didn't expect any of those things to happen. My mom sent me a text message from my dad's phone, because I have her blocked, saying I was a horrible daughter. How could I deprive my daughter of her family? That I was going to regret this. All the typical emotional manipulation speech. I didn't respond. Jonathan told me he was proud of me for standing firm, and honestly, his support is what keeps me sane through all this. Do I feel bad? Sometimes? Yes. It's weird not having my mom at this moment, not having that relationship with my sister that I once thought we had. But when I hold my daughter and think about the kind of people I want to surround her, I know I made the right decision. I'm not going to teach her that it's okay to accept mistreatment just because it comes from family. I'm not going to normalize cruelty under the pretense of honesty or keeping the peace. Last week, my daughter looked at me with those little eyes and smiled for the first time. A real smile. Not gas. And I realized that this, my family with Jonathan and our daughter, is all I need. The rest, if it comes, let it come with respect. And if it doesn't come, I guess I'm learning to be okay with that too.